right. That does it for My Hero Academia Vigilantes episode 2 Take Off. And I think this episode was a much more filler slash much better episode than episode 1. I mean, stemming off of what we were already like with episode 1, I think it was much more enjoyable. Yeah, like, and this is even with me knowing certain stuff or trying to remember certain stuff from what I read like years ago with the series. But yes, you asked the question earlier, is this a complete story or is it done? Was there a follow-up question to that, or
No, just I guess just trying to figure out how many seasons there are and if it's like, if it's just gonna be this one season and that's it, how long the manga was. Because My Hero
Mhm.
just finished, but when I started My Hero was I started it late, way after everyone else. And it only
Mhm.
just finished. So the anime's still going. It's what, got one more season left?
Yeah.
So it's kind of just wondering the same thing here. Like, how many seasons are we in for this, knowing that My Hero, the actual show, is done
I
or going to be done soon?
I want to say maybe 4, maybe 5, stretching 5 seasons, because it was around 150 chapters, if I remember carefully, for Vigilantes. I will double check that right now so I can give you a better like breakdown. But if it is like 150, then you can make a guesstimate, like creating some words out here, that 30 chapters per season, that seems to be like the going rate.
Hmm.
Usually when there's 2 cores, it's around 50 to 52 chapters or so. um and that's with just uh, if Vigilantes, I can't remember if it was a monthly series or not. I pull it up here right now for us. So it says that 15 volumes, they collected 120, oh actually 126. So yeah, 4 seasons. I give it 4 seasons. um
Okay.
yeah, pretty much 4 seasons, because the first 2 episodes were done in chapter 1 and chapter 2. um I believe it was monthly. Let me double check. Yeah, if it's definitely, if it's monthly, then yeah, then the 4 seasons is pretty much what it would be. If that, it might even just be 3 seasons in a movie. Who knows? But with My Hero, if they like to continue with the episode breakdown, I say 4 seasons, um, to take us through a lot. Because right now, actually, no, we just all right. So damn, actually, yeah, B is the next episode. So that's volume 1 will be done. And that pretty much the next, because the next episode is gonna cover stuff dealing with, well, that character you saw and pop step. um yeah, I mean, let me not scroll any further because you'll start seeing, so I mean, not that you would know the
Right.
context of it, but there would be some of the things that you could get spoiled on. But yeah, stemming from that, yeah, I guess yeah, what did you think about the episode?
This episode. I think it's also funny that we're watching Daredevil Born Again at the same time, and the
Mm-hmm.
conversation about vigilantes is happening
Mm-hmm.
within the nerd space
Mm-hmm.
community and what it means to be a hero. Also watching
to
um
to be Hero
to be
X.
Hero X.
I wonder if
Um
they did it on purpose in terms of the programming.
to timed it just right. Yeah, because there's also for a Star Wars fans, Andor season 2 is coming right after um Daredevil is
Mm-hmm.
done on Disney Plus, and that's also talk of pretty much a rebel, a small contingent rebel
Yeah.
force, so to speak, vigilantes who are trying to stop, the empire and stuff like that. So, and what it takes to be a hero and what it means, and rallying people towards oppressive regimes, or when the heroes, so to speak, aren't around, where the Luke Skywalkers or the Captain Americas aren't around, or the All Mights aren't around.
Yeah.
Who's there to help the community? Um, so yeah, I think maybe all the corporations were like, "Hey guys, the world is bad, and we're gonna keep letting it be bad. So just throw this out there so that people think we're trying to start a conversation of some sort."
Yeah.
I mean, and I like stories like this. We talked guys, go watch our Daredevil Born Again
Mm-hmm.
conversations about our thoughts on vigilantes. But to quick summarize, I believe in the power of vigilantes. I think it's all about intent.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just like, yeah, like I just said, superheroes or those that are meant to serve and protect aren't there all the time.
Yeah.
So we have to do our best to protect each other and protect our communities when and where we can.
Yep.
Um, and I like that it's taking that, and I like the conversation between Knuckle Duster and Eraserhead because though I agree with Eraserhead and with Koichi and Popstep, you can't just punch, like you can't just attack randoms because they look bad,
Yeah.
right? Um, or because you think they're gonna do bad, like those are thought crimes. You can't persecute people for thought crimes, right?
Yeah.
Just because they look a little shady, like Knuckle Duster does, and he keeps saying, "Yeah, people tell me that all the time."
His
Um,
name is Freaky Fist Grandpa.
Sorry, Freaky
I'm
First Grandpa.
sorry.
Like Eraserhead, like like Freaky First Grandpa kept saying it. Like whenever Eraserhead would comment, he's like, "Yeah, people tell me that all the time." But it's also like what people are saying to him is what he's doing to other people, right? Even though in this instance with the office worker, he was proven correct. But you can't just go to everyone and like they're trying to get him to realize you can't just punch first, ask questions later. It can't always be about asking for forgiveness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Permission, asking for permission first and forgiveness, that whole thing. Can't always be about that. You have to really investigate and take a look at what's going on around you.
Mm-hmm.
Um I mean, and I think it's also just part of his demeanor how it really does come down to intent, and sometimes we do have to rally ourselves around people like that. It's like, well, you have the right idea, you're just kind of going about it in an aggressive way that's not going to help you or really help anyone else in the long run. You may be right this time, but that doesn't mean you're going to be right every time,
Yeah.
right? And eventually, if you just go out keep punching people, you will be the villain,
Yep.
right? You will turn into what you're trying to fight against. um and I guess it's kind of those things where you get two mentees around a mentor, and that same old story that they're two different generations are trying to show each other how to really go about in the
Mm-hmm.
world, how to influence each other. um yeah, and I like that, though I'm not a fan of, the only girl on the team kind of being the girl behind the computer, so to speak, but
Mm-hmm.
the computer being a cell phone. I like that she's doing the PR, so to speak, and kind of just like, well, these two knuckleheads, they're not all bad, and just
Mm-hmm.
letting people know, like, hey guys, they're too busy being stupid. So let me tell you the real info and what's going on. Be on the lookout.
Mm-hmm.
Also because she's a young woman and because of her singing career, has to be mindful of what's happening on social media.
Mm-hmm.
It also helps that because she performs everywhere around the city, she's able to clock things in the city and mysterious things going around. So she's
Yeah.
kind of like the Batgirl. Yeah, she really is like Batgirl, which I love. Um, I like how, my hero. I like how the creator of this show or this
Mm-hmm.
story also takes references from other superhero type things, right? Like even those two characters, those two delinquents are clearly JoJo. It's also
Yeah.
taking influence from X-Men,
Yeah.
right? That was the biggest selling point to me for why when people told me to watch my hero. Like
Mm-hmm.
um my favorite character is oh my god, I can't remember his name right now. Because I keep wanting to say Koichi. It's not Koichi. Red. He's
Red
got
Riot.
spikes. Yeah, Red Riot. He's my favorite
Kirishima. I keep saying.
character.
Oh, keep wanting to say Kirishima.
Kirishima.
Yeah.
It's Kirishima. Kirishima is my favorite character. I like Kirishima because he wants to be like he wants to prove what it means to be a man, but in a different way than what people perceive
Mm-hmm.
masculinity and manliness to be. But thinking of him and then the other kid that's in class 2B who turns to steel, I'm like, oh, they're essentially Colossus. Like
Yeah.
they're essentially what Colossus is in X-Men. Um and like I think it's like because I enjoy X-Men so much and because I enjoy all these other like superhero properties and I just love the story concept of what does it really take to be a hero
Mm-hmm.
for yourself and for the people around you. Like I love these stories. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, this definitely has me sold. We're 2 episodes in. I thought this episode was a lot of fun. I thought it had a lot of really good talking points. I think it's important to get the perspective of actual heroes and vigilantes and how they can influence each other to be better at their jobs. I'm very
Mhm.
interested in seeing how this story does affect essentially how Eraserhead and All Might and everyone else goes forward
Yeah.
when we finally meet them in the main My Hero story.
Yeah. Yeah. Stemming off from what you said, like there was a couple other things that so I know this is a talking point that's starting to creep up more so on online, more with the manga. So the manga, well, more at the anime adaptation at the moment. So it's
Mhm.
definitely looking great. Um, a lot of people are talking about how there's certain censorship going on already. Now, the
In
censorship
the anime or in the manga?
in the anime, because the manga, of course, we know Hirokoshi. He the way he draws it, like in certain between either fights between the characters, like Pop Step and whatnot, because they have tamed her down. This is much more tamer. What we're seeing in the presentation than
Which is
what with the
isn't it
manga.
the opposite? Isn't it opposite in My Hero? Isn't it more
Mhm.
tame in the manga and then the anime is just like
I think yeah. There's the other way. Yeah. Because the mainstream My Hero, yeah, that was also because of the platform with Sueisha. So yeah, he's able to do a lot more on the Shonen Jump Plus side of things and Giga Jump side of things as opposed to what was going on in Shonen Jump, where they wanted to be more like very tame, for the most part, especially because of like the audience demographic they're trying to target. And yeah, so that's why people are talking about like the differences in that. So it's not taking anything away. I mean, Mans is getting his face beat in, but you already know there's the section of people that want to see Pop Step's ass, but they referenced it literally. I know, Kayla, like they referenced it last week where they said you're just a high schooler showing your ass, and I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, we referencing it. But yeah, I can see the eye twitch already because there's some dudes. I'm just like, bro, like there are other ecchi anime out there literally airing right now that are uncensored that people could be watching, but they want to see Pop Steps pop. Yeah, I'm
y'all are
like,
weird.
bro, yeah, that is
That's
the Twitter
that's
discourse
That's
that
pedo behavior. Just so
that
you guys know,
yo,
the
son.
fact that you're so rah rah angry rage bait to want to see a high schooler's underwear, that's pedo behavior. Just so
Yeah.
that we're clear.
Oh yeah, that's why I was like, yeah, that is some of the discourse that was going on. I'm just like, are we really having this discussion again? Like, but then again, it's discussion all the time. Like where I'm just like, bro, like this, if you want to
Yeah,
see it, just
honestly,
yeah, that yeah,
getting further into the My Hero fandom, I'm not too much into it,
yeah,
but because I like it comes across my timeline.
yeah.
A lot of you men are very weird about these high school characters.
I gotta throw in girls along with it. Yeah, I just gotta say the My Hero fandom, and I mean, hey, this could be problematic as it is. The My Hero fandom, a lot is weird. The deeper you get into the fandom, like when we get into, especially into the shipping culture,
Oh yeah,
which
that I'm what
yeah,
that yeah, that
yeah,
always comes just like you guys are.
yeah, like that especially when we get into that, like because we got the fan service, right? So it's like My Hero's fan service. Obviously, there's battle lines drawn on that. Then you get to the shipping culture. There's battle lines drawn on that. Like then you get into, I mean, we didn't discuss this when it was happening, but you get into the author drawing Mirko, like the character, who's a tan skin character, but then the whole discourse of that erupted. It probably was on your timeline about the amount of people arguing over Mirko, whether she's black or, and people saying like there's no there was a lot of people a few weeks ago now saying that Mirko's a Japanese woman, right? But she's tan. But people was like, oh no, she's black. Now there's a lot of people who claim Mirko as like, say, Yorichi from Bleach as being a black character and whatnot, and that happens a lot, right? But of course, she's Japanese. She's a tan Japanese woman. So a lot of discourse happened when Horikoshi drew her in a very light tone, right? One, because of the lighting that he used and whatnot, and that completely ripped Twitter apart because that became,
Oh, right. I saw
yes,
some of that. I saw some of
yeah, that
that.
became like the biggest thing in the world and whatnot. So like, I mean, like this is just what happens with My Hero. It just becomes one of these things that permeate outside of enjoying the actual material, and I think a lot of that also dumbs down slash dims people's enjoyment of the actual series itself. When we think about it, like I mean, you mentioned it when we were watching season 7, where
Mhm.
My Hero is a great series where you don't have a bitch in your ear telling you
You're
that
telling me
it's,
bad.
yeah,
Yeah.
telling you it's bad, right? And that continues, that just continues. Like it's just, like I can enjoy My Hero when I don't have to like ingratiate with the community in any shape or form, whether it's the My Hero stands or the My Hero detractors or people that just don't like like this, like the medium itself, right? In
Man,
Vigilante is going to be a like you know, because goon has become a much more popular word and changed from its original term. Nothing is no longer like, you know, where people used to draw the line between, all right, we used to talk about anime and the conversation would be, all right, is this fan service, is this not fan service, what constitute as fan service, right? If Pop Step has her ass being shown, which was like in episode 1, but not anywhere as egregious as possibly it could have been. I don't remember the manga, but I mean, it's Horikoshi, and you know, like we've seen what they've done to his characters in the anime, so people want that same type of treatment from the anime in, you know, for Pop Step. And I'm just like, yo, like we go from fan service to like gooner tactics and whatnot, or whatever you want to call it. And that's just becoming, that's the thing I've been monitoring, because at the time I was like, I couldn't remember Pop Step like age at all, right? Like I couldn't remember her age, and I was just like, when they mentioned that she was a high school again, I was like, oh, that's right, because and I thought she was, and I tried to remember if she was older, mainly because our main character is also a college student, and that was another reason why I did like Vigilantes to begin with, because they're not in high school and, you know, are high, like in college adults, so some of the things that they do show were warranted. But she is, I think, either just about to be done with high school in the last year of high school. I can't remember what Pop Step, like where she's at or whatnot. But for, you know what, for everyone's reference, right, might as well double check
why are
this for
you guys
everyone.
so
Yeah,
weird
so
about?
people are, yeah, they are. All right, they don't even tell you like how Deku's age and whatnot. They don't even tell you Pop Step's age. They just said that she's in high school. Yeah, yeah. But the dudes that are like campaigning for like, you know, non-censorships just so we can see some I'm like,
Of a
bro,
high school
bro,
character.
bro, like, bro, like I said, there are dudes online right now, like, because this episode drops today, that are mad because they're like, yeah, this shit's censored, this is garbage, and I'm like, are we serious, bro? And I know there's a lot of people doing it for like rage baiting and whatnot, but the fact is there's enough people in the comment section of these rage baiters that are actually dead serious. Yeah,
You guys are
that's
fucking weird.
that
You guys,
is, yeah.
and that's not to say that the creator himself isn't a fucking weirdo, apparently. But like, I also know that about comic book regular
To
U.S.
show,
comic writers
so
too,
I'm going to
that are
show
fucking
you
weirdos.
the
But
uncensored version. All right, so this is what they want to see in the anime.
that's a high schooler.
Yeah,
This is pissing me off.
yeah, that's what they want. Like and obviously the anime has covered up, you know, everything related to that, and I don't want to spoil anything more, but that is essentially, yeah,
Why
what,
are men? Why are
yeah,
men? Not
yeah,
you, obviously.
yeah.
But why are men? Why are men? Why are men? Why are men?
I'm
Just
like, bro, like, yeah,
you guys just like I'm disgusted and you all should be put on a registry. Like, I'm not consider,
Yeah.
and I'm saying this tacking on to a couple other things that have happened within the week,
Oh yeah.
with a specific Steam game.
Yeah.
And
And
then
people campaigning
also,
for that game to be around. Yeah.
and not only that, just going having coming off the heels of Don Da Don, and then all the weird discourse around Marvel Rivals. Um, y'all should be put on a registry. Clip this. Oh, can't be passed around. You all should be put on a fucking registry. Um, literally when that that tweet that went around that said that again, not you because I know
Hmm.
you and I know how you are, but that men should be put in prison when they're
Hmm.
bored and then work their way out. Just like, oh my god, every day, you guys just are really, and that's not even accounting for real world situations that are
Yeah.
happening for the things that are circulating with what I see and stuff. But you guys are fucking weird. Like, truly fucking weird. And I can't even be like it's mouth breathers or neck beards or people that, basement dwellers and shit like
Hmm.
that, because some of you work corporate 9 to 5. Some of you are in
Yo,
college and
they.
are interacting with
Yeah.
women and young children and girls, or going on to become a doctor or a lawyer, or being in positions where you have to interact with young women. You guys are fucking weird. You guys are fucking weird. And I don't know how many times I got to say this.
Hmm.
And again, but I'll say it every time. Just because I play violent video games does not make me violent, but it does change my perception of the world around me. And it changes my perception or how I interact with the people around me. It is what it is. Media in all forms does that. Media is the
Yeah.
soft power of influence. We already know also racially, culturally, how media influences how we interact as a society. There have been countless
Oh
studies
yeah.
to prove this fact. You guys are fucking weird. This is a
It
high
is.
schooler.
Yeah.
You
Which
guys are
is.
fucking weird.
Yeah. Which is the one thing. Like I said, like when a lot of people, like obviously, there's ecchi anime. And there's ones that have adults in it, and obviously there was one series that we were watching that immediately was dropped. Like we're talking about this person looks like an infant. Like even they could, but the people can mask it by saying, but they're like 100 years old and whatnot. Yeah, with the body of a child, like actual, like literally, like new. They look fresh out the womb, and this is what we doing out here. But it's being sexualized at that, and then when it comes to, like I said, it's just when it comes to the My Hero fandom, and like I said, hey, people go hate these takes if they want. There's too many bad apples to that spoils the bunch for any of the good apples that are in the community. There's a lot of people who are actually nice and don't do any of this other weird shit and whatnot. But when like they can just can't even get
It's
past
like
the
how
yeah.
the bronies ruined My Little Pony.
Yeah, I've heard about that with the My
Oh
Hero
yeah, it's
community.
bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I mean, with that, the amount of you know, PR that's in that community, and I'm not trying to get demonetized, but like I said, yeah, shit just gets weird. So it's like you can enjoy this series without the weirdness, or should I say, without the community, because the community at large would just like
Okay. Without a
would
bitch in your ear being
yeah,
a weirdo or telling you My Hero is bad, this is
yeah, it's
something
just
that. But then
yeah.
even then, it's like also finding out that obviously the creator is a weirdo.
Mm,
It like I said when we
mm,
watched the actual My Hero,
yeah.
I do not like how the women are represented in
Mm,
the context of this show,
yeah.
or the lack of development in a lot of the female characters. In 99.9% of the female characters,
Yeah.
how their character arcs are, how they're represented, how they're just killed off willy-nilly. Um like it's a problem. It's an embedded problem. Like I can enjoy Deku, I can enjoy All Might, I can enjoy Kirishima, right? But
Mm,
also critique and have an actual conversation about the problems that are quite insidious when it comes to creators and their properties, and when their properties
Yeah.
get big.
Yeah.
And again, how these things change perceptions of society around them.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, like, I often wonder, like, when these series are, like, as a creator, right? I often wonder, like, what age do these stories begin conception at, and then how old is the creator, like, when it finally, like, gets published, and if that played a role in anything, like, because if these stories are made, like, give it, I just double check his age, so you can kind of say that maybe he started writing this when he was in high school, and yeah, but then it's
He
also
never
comes
grew
down,
up.
yeah, it goes down to the publication, which is Shonen Jump, once again, like, which does turn, like I said, they tone down what My Hero looks like compared to what the anime, because the animators are just like, all right, we're doing this is superheroes, this is mainly a Western audience thing, this is what Western audience would be into in general, right? And that is unfortunately the truth, especially when it comes to how, sexualized, like, Momo is, for instance, right? In the anime is, and I mean, now you just follow that with Pop Step, who is the latest, female heroine that we have, and that image I just showed you, that I don't like, that's probably the actual image that Hirokoshi drew himself, because it looks like a manga image like that. I would, like, yeah, I'm just gonna go off on a limb and say that's probably it, because of, Vigilantes being a very different manga, much more mature than, My Hero, even
I
though the
and
character
I love
itself, yeah,
I love how always and
yeah,
not you just like in a general sense,
yeah,
the idea of maturity is to take a young woman or a female child and be like, "Hey,
yeah,
make sure she's wearing less.
yeah.
Make sure that she falls in love with an older guy. Make sure she's sexualized beyond belief, and then because she's so independent, it makes perfect sense. All the fucking time, all the fucking time. You guys are fucking weird. You guys, and again,
Yeah,
this is also a symptom in Western comics as well and in
yeah,
Western media. I don't want you guys to just assume that I'm shitting all over Japanese creators, even though I will all day, every day, because a lot of y'all are weird. Um, this is an epidemic. This is a pandemic of media in general, and legit a pandemic of media in general. And it's it's so weird because right to go from because we're old to
hmm,
go from being individuals who used to get picked on for liking this stuff
yeah,
and also not fully understanding the adult context of a lot of the stuff we're taking in. And then growing up and then looking at this stuff and going, that is weird. But then being exposed to fandoms at large because of social media, because of the connection of the internet now, whereas before you would just have to find a friend in school
yeah,
or find a club somewhere or hopefully make a connection at a Suncoast or something, right? Like
yeah,
really aging myself, right? You have to go out and find the community. Here we're instantly exposed to
yeah,
all sorts of weirdness. This level of degeneracy has always been around in fandom, but now we're all
yeah.
just
It's
so open to one another.
it's even
Um,
more embraced and more
yeah, I think that's the thing that's
amplified.
always so yeah, I think that's the thing that's always like so abracing for me is that how like abracing, I'm sorry,
Mhm.
abracing for me is how people embrace this stuff. How you all circle around each other to defend each other from
Mhm.
your weird proclivities and then go on to bully and pretty much annoy the rest of us who are like, "Hey, so just so you know, this is bad.
Mhm.
Hey, just so you know, don't treat people that hey, just so you know, don't look at that little girl that way." Um,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. It
this
is.
it's
It
wild.
is. Yeah, as you said, it is a pandemic.
It truly
And
is.
it's,
I can't
yeah.
escape this shit anywhere because like now I'm thinking in my head, I'm thinking the discourse that's happening with the House of the Dragon fandom, and then understanding the A Song of Ice and Fire universe and
Mhm.
how that writer has crafted his world. and then also that game that's on Steam that got talked about, but then also discussing GTA, but then also
Mhm.
playing Marvel Rivals, and then talking to people who don't read the comic books, but then also knowing that those types of people are also in the comic books community who also act this way. So it's not just a video game issue, it's a
Yeah.
comic books issue. And then not even that, then it's the MCU bullshit. And then the MCU, you can't like you can't like the Marvels, you can't like She-Hulk. Oh, but you know, she's twerking, but that's stupid, but Deadpool buying is so funny. Like,
Mhm.
or like, you know, taking characters who are young and then you go, okay, guys, stop sexualizing these young characters, please. Let them
Yeah.
just be children. Oh, but no, no,
Yeah.
no. And then when you're like, hey, so I see how you cape and cap for these
Mhm.
and go up for these types of very disgusting characters, I'm gonna look at you and then look at you outside in the real world and go, this does what you like influences how you interact with people. I
Mhm.
don't care what people say. Like it truly, truly does. Like that's like like I a good example how the X-Men operate,
Mhm.
how Rogue operates, how her character is written has helped influence me as an individual to how I see the world and how I interact with people around the world.
Mhm.
It'd be so stupid to say the opposite of people who like a bad guy. You know what I mean? I love
Mhm.
her mothers. Her mothers are villains of a story, but I'm also not going out and beating up people in the Capitol, right? Those are the
Yeah.
other people doing it.
Yeah.
Those are some other individuals doing that shit.
Yeah.
So all this
It's
to say,
yeah.
all this to say, I like My Hero. I do. Um, I like My Hero Vigilantes. Um, I like it's so sad because I like this stuff and I want to
Mhm.
find community with the stuff that I love because now we're able to. You guys just make it so hard that I don't even like the consensus all around for all fandoms I've been seeing lately is yeah, I just don't get involved in fandom. I just don't. I just enjoy it on my own.
It's most
Like it's
likely
so sad.
the smartest idea in the world. Like I mean, like if for a lot of fandoms, man, one's as intense as My Hero is. Yeah, it's probably the smartest thing to not get involved. I mean, hey,
Oh,
I
that's
get
so sad.
yeah, I when it comes to think of the fandoms where it isn't as intense, Sailor Moon and Yu Yu Hakusho. um I mean,
Mm-hmm.
those are two fandoms off the top of my head where you like you either didn't watch Sailor Moon because you're like you just wasn't into magical girls, and you didn't watch Yu Yu Hakusho because you thought it was too similar to Dragon Ball Z, right? And that's about it. And the people who watched the series, like the most that I've seen in the Sailor Moon fandom, outside of things that happen with Amara and Michelle, is the English names for Uranus and Neptune, right? But it's usually girls that talk about that
Mm-hmm.
itself. Like when it comes to like other guys talking about Sailor Moon, it's usually, can Sailor Moon be Goku? And the answer has always been yes. And
Mm-hmm.
then it's always been like the back and forth between that and you, because you know the Dragon Ball fans can't believe that Sailor Moon could be Goku. And with Yu Yu Hakusho, it's literally either it's the most goated show or I've never watched it. That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no other like mass like or Urameshi like literally saying that I'll beat anybody up. I don't care if it's your own grandma. Like anybody could get these hands, right? So, and you know that's all they talk about. But if some of the new gen, right, especially if you think about My Hero, you think about JJK. I mean, now people, now that JJK is over, I'm not gonna spoil it for anybody watching or you. Like now people are just talking about how badly written it is and whatnot. And
Which I've been saying from the
yeah,
beginning. Welcome to the club,
yeah,
y'all, but
yeah.
okay.
Like, but it's pretty. It's gonna look cool. It's gonna have hype moments, but people are gonna be like, this is dumpster fire towards the end. You have some of these newer animes that are coming up. I hope they don't run into these issues like Kaiju number 8. You know, the fandom seems welcoming so far. We haven't really dove too much into the fandom, but it really, like, that's welcoming. Dungeon Meshi welcoming. Freerin, I am so sad what's happened to Freerin's fandom right now, because it
Yeah,
is literally
I can't step foot in that
like
shit.
bro, it's like bro, it's like Hitler is like, and what is, I don't know what has happened to that, and this whole talk about demons. Like that, I want to have this as a separate video. I think it needs a separate video because, bro, what the
Yeah, because
absolute
that's been
hell,
also
bro?
circling
For
also in
Don't
like
Make
X-Men
Cry,
conversations too.
yes,
Yeah,
like
yes,
people,
yes, yes,
like you
yes, yes.
cannot, like people want demons to be demons and what, bro. That's real talk coming soon. We go end here for Vigilantes.
Mhm.
Pop Step, listen, I like, bro, people, y'all need to stop. Like we got,
Yeah, please.
look, there is enough anime where there are characters who are around the same age as Pop Step, literally, that are
The fact that
have
you're even saying
uncensored.
this makes me
Yo,
so
it
sad.
is it because literally there are 3 airing right now, bro. Like
It's so sad.
legitimately there are 3 airing right now, and they're all uncensored. So I'm like, you guys, why Pops Up? Can we have characters that don't need this at the same time, right? You guys have your other animes where y'all can talk about this and that, and I'm like, yo, like legitimately, there's a whole thing about like this article came out about like people want fan service anime to be nuked from like the entire world, and why I don't agree with that, but it just like, I mean, as the more things come out, I'm just like, yo, this is why people want to say fan service in quotation marks need to be nuked from anime, because they consider it just softcore porn, right? And that is, they just ask an argument, and I mean, like, while, like I said, like, I don't agree with it, but I'm like, this is furthering, like you can't lie that there are points, like especially where I just don't, us here, like, leave children alone. It is simple as that. Like, like, don't lewd the children. Like, it's just as simple as that, right?
Don't try to hide it with, well, this
Yeah.
woman is 5,000 years old but looks 10.
Yeah, like that. It's as simple as that. Like, if Pop Step legitimately was a college student, I would have no issue for the most part. I have no, like, literally, like, but because if they make her look like a child, then of course I'm gonna have an issue, even though they say she's a college student. So that's when, like, you can still have stuff there. But the fact is, the main character is in college, Pop Step is in high school, and we haven't determined yet where in high school she's in or what age she's in, because they haven't, like, because someone could be in high school and be 18 years old, right? And that still feels kind of wrong at the same time. But then again, it's like, if they just said college, to me it's a whole different set, because at least we're dealing with for people who you can consider adults, right? And if you're gonna have ecchi content, that's whatever. That's what I mean. Man, when I go to Japan next month, I'm gonna ask somebody. I'm like, yo, so when you were this young, were you like really out here like with these manga and these animes for the high school students, and they're being looted, whether a guy or a girl? Like, was this what you really was reading? Like, I mean, because apparently you only hear this argument and people crying over it from the Western crowd. Yeah, for the most
I
part.
think it's a mixed bag.
Yeah.
I think it's a mix. Like, okay, we
Yeah.
do need to wrap it up, but I honestly
Yeah.
think that conversation is a mixed bag. I think it comes to the infantilization of Japan too.
True.
The fact that Japan is producing this content, but we want to be like it's some kind of utopia oasis that they don't really do bad things.
Mhm.
But we know that anime and manga were created so that we don't forget the bad things Japan did
Mhm.
and the constant sexually and gender-based crimes that happen in Japan on a constant. Um, I think people want to redirect it as a Western thing, and it
Mhm.
is a Western issue,
Mhm.
but it's perpetuated by the
Yeah.
content created in Japan. People are obviously buying this stuff in Japan. Like
Yeah.
like we've
There are
discussed, there are
whole,
whole sections
in rooms which, like, me, like,
have CP in them.
bro,
So
the last thing I'll say on that, because I was in Japan in October, and like, it's one of those things where, was it me, Jolton, and other content creators and whatnot, and the floors, of course we don't understand, like, we're not reading the shit or whatever, right? But the floors start off as toys, then you get to like magazines in one floor. You're like, all right, cool. And then we're like, what's up there? And then we go up there and we immediately come back down, because it is insane. And there are videos on Twitter, Instagram, of people making jokes of it, because people will be like, they'll have like the music and whatnot. Oh, what floor is up there? And then all you just have is like the person just like with their head like this, and like the cops like like storming in and whatnot, because bro,
Just
and it's
to
just
normalize it
the,
and to make a joke
yeah,
out of a serious topic so that
yeah,
people stop taking it seriously and actually
yeah,
do something about it.
yeah,
But yeah,
because
so I
it is,
again,
it was
we want to
wild.
we want to deflect to say it's a Western issue. It's a global issue.
Yeah,
Again, if we wouldn't have these conversations if creators in Japan weren't creating the content.
yeah, because the Westerners over here feels that, oh, it's not censored, they don't have to deal with censorship.
Maybe they
That's, yeah.
should. Maybe the question is they should.
And Japan right now is fighting censorship as we speak too.
I
So
mean,
yeah,
look, again, seriously, one last thing.
yeah,
If you look it up, Japan was cited, I think, by the UN or by NATO or
mhm,
some big world organization about their CP issue.
yeah,
Like, hey, y'all gotta stop this shit. They are one of the, if not the leading in CP.
yeah,
And the sexualization of children and gendered and sex-based crimes against children. So
yeah. Like it took them like, what was it, 10 years ago it was finally illegal for CP. So like
yeah,
10, was it like literally 10 years ago, bro? Like think about that,
so
folks.
illegal, yeah, so illegal. I mean, and also, but slavery also still exists in some
Yeah,
states here. So it's not like any of the countries are actually up with the times. Anything to do, like yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah. It's
like,
a way. The further we get into this rabbit hole, the further it just goes. But yeah, 10 years ago is when CP was finally banned in Japan. So that should let you guys know. 2015, legitimately January. Crazy, crazy.
yep.
All right, folks. We're ending off here. Real talk.